when we're talking walkability, we have to be able to go somewhere, right? When you're walking, you got to have a destination, and that's, of course, transit access. You have to be coming from someplace that is affordable density, which is a very loaded word. I know it's pretty sensitive now. Things aren't affordable, but that's just the definition. And of course, chaos in urban, you want to have a little less of chaos. It's not going to be like living in the suburbs. So these are the four, and they're all intertwined. Those four things are needed, and these five neighborhoods have it. Accessibility versus walkability. This is very important. I had an accountability group, some great folks in there, and one of the members told me, well, watch out, to be compliant, right? ADA, Americans with Disabilities. Obviously, I'm very sensitive to that, very cognizant of that. And so walkability doesn't necessarily mean accessibility, right? But the other way around is true. If you do have true accessibility, you do have their form of walkability. And put in the chat, along with where you're from, and if you live in an urban center, like I have in all these videos, put in the chat if I should maybe do some type of like the most accessible neighborhoods in Chicago. I'm kind of curious. So throw that comment if you feel that would be value for you. I can definitely do that. So I'm going to be very clear here. These neighborhoods not necessarily going to can be completely ADA compliant. So I'm never ever want to, not just it's the right thing to do, but obviously ethically, right? And I am a licensed broker here in the city of Chicago. Never want to purposely deny someone, but the reality is these are walkable neighborhoods, but I definitely will discuss accessibility in some form. Okay, so how are we going to define walk score? So I've got this graph right here. Minimize me. This is the score, and you'll see it on the actual walk score website. And three of these, let's see here, two of these are in that Paradise, Walker's Paradise, and then the other three are right in that very walkable. So, I mean, look, with that New York bias, they always say, and I believe walk score backs them up. I think Brooklyn, New York is like got the 100 score. There's very few cities that have 100 score. So I feel Chicago's right up there in the 90s. If you got something in the 90s, in the 80s, or the high 70s, you're in good shape. So let's go through. I'm going to share my screen here, and I want to show you the walk score, right? Who owns it? Some brief methodology. So the same image that I had, you have these scores and these rankings. So they have methodology. I mean, I know I probably got a lot of quant guys and gals there. They have all these points that they use, how they calculate it. So, right, they analyze hundreds of walking routes. Thank God they do this, right? Because no one else has time to do it. So they distill it down into, is it perfect? No, but it's really, really accurate. They do their due diligence. And also, eventually I'll talk about, transit neighborhoods. And a lot of times, like I said, a lot of times they're intertwined, right? But they have a transit score, they have a walking score, but I can check it out. You can put in literally any area you want, and you can find these three important critical elements that you as an urban enthusiast, or you're thinking about that relocation, you need to know these three scores. So this is where you should be going when you're doing your due diligence. So this is how the score works. And if you go right here, want to make sure that it is sharing properly about the walk score. Okay. Walk scores, you can see right here where the cursor is at. Walk Score's mission is to promote walkable neighborhoods. Walkable neighborhoods are one of the simplest and best solutions for the environment, our health, and the economy. I mean, it's basically the essence of urbanism here, and that's a great graphic, right? I don't hate the car. I always say, folks, we just need to have less dependence on the car, and we have to have more what's on the left side of that graphic. And so that mission aligns perfectly with my mission to you, as the urbanist, as the moderate urbanist. This is a fantastic site. So that is the walk score. So I'm going to stop sharing. Okay. So first up, you want a little drum roll. We're talking about Ravenswood. Okay. Ravenswood is the first neighborhood I'd like to talk about. I wanted to upload it I use StreamYard. If you're curious, the streaming software, but I'm just going to have to share the screen. So the first 4 here, I'm going to have videos. So I'm going to have a brief video to kind of give you a feel of Ravenswood. Ravenswood is a neighborhood and is part of the Lincoln Square community. Shout people, if you can hear me, I'm hoping you guys can hear me. Please throw a comment in there, you know. Wow. I did not have it's live. What are you going to do? So you may have not been hearing any of that. Wow. Okay, so now it's starting. Before I continue, any folks either on the live or on the replay, let me know if you can hear. You can hear me. Let me know if you can hear. Hopefully you can. So what I was saying here is Ravenswood is a neighborhood in the Lincoln Square community. There are several neighborhoods that make up, and that's a designated, right? That's recognized by the city. There are 77 communities, 9 sides. Ravenswood is a pocket of Lincoln Square, kind of quasi made famous by Rahm Emanuel, our former mayor, lived there. So let me show, I'm going to show a video. And Wells Park in the Ravenswood neighborhood in the southeastern portion of Ravenswood. Technically kind of just outside of Ravenswood, you have Chase Park. And so you have all the good fixings, typical fixings, the playground, tennis courts, basketball courts. So it's something to just, stretch the legs and get out and enjoy nature. So Chase Park is there. If you want that trail, which Winnemac Park have, Winsley Parkway. It seems very simple, but I wanted to do a kind of a walkthrough. It's actually on a portion on Ravenswood between Ainsley and Winnemac streets, right by the Metro train. They made a little trail there. It's very, very cute. You can walk there for a couple of blocks. It's really great for the doggos, right? Because there isn't technically a park there. So if you got to take Fido out, use that trail. It's really cool. So you've got 2 places there. Location and transportation. So the soft boundaries, I'm always going to be kind of stressing the soft boundaries. We have Ashland to the east, going through all the way to Damon on the west, Montrose to the south, and Foster on the north. With your west, south, and east folks, there's a little bit bleeding, a little bit, maybe a block around each of those directions. So, of course, again, don't at me. So that's really the location. And, of course, now with reloads, they have no idea what I'm talking about. So what you really need to know if you're relocating to Ravenswood, the really big key is the commuter line. It's the Metra, which basically operates at Lawrence and Ravenswood. So it's a great Metro stop. You can get really down quickly. You're going to see how long it roughly takes from that Metro stop to down in the city if you're working in the city. So it's super, super convenient. And I haven't even mentioned, of course, Montrose and Damon Brown lines that can serve this wonderful. Okay, so that was Ravenswood. Sorry for the technical difficulties, right? Again, not much I can really do when I'm live. This will definitely get edited down. So in case you find me on the replay, I will definitely have it a more professional looking. I'll get that definitely edited down after the fact. So yeah, Ravenswood, a little bit of it all. They've got, they have the park. They have that little walk. It's really, really like the Metro dominates and the housing around the Metro. It's one of the things, when everyone loves to have transit rich living, right? Living closer to that transit, but unfortunately, home prices go up. And this is the case definitely with Ravenswood. Very, very smoking hot market around there. It's just convenient for folks that can get down to work. So you can see here, this is those soft boundaries of Ravenswood. Excuse me. A pocket of Lincoln Square. Right here, as we zoom in, this is that you saw the video, my drone footage of the Ravenswood stop, which kind of just dominates this whole area. That's one of the main reasons why folks are going to live there. It's convenient to the shopping. You got Mariano's, obviously local people know, but Mariano's is your HEB, is, you know, Hy-Vee, right? It's I wouldn't say it's as like top is like Trader Joe's or Whole Foods, but it's like the step below. If you want to do a quick ranking, I would say, you know, like Trader Joe's, Whole Foods. I mean, there's obviously some of the specialty stores, but for those mass produced for the consumer, the luxury one would be Trader Joe's, Whole Foods. Then you'd have, I guess, Mariano's, and you'd have the Jewels. You got to add the S to it, Jewels, not Jewel. And so you got the convenience of the shopping. You have Ravenswood. I mentioned here in the, let's go to go one more in. Over there. This Lilith Art Center, that's what I mentioned in that video. You can take an art class. It's super convenient. I imagine this would be great for the kiddos if you happen to have a kid, or if you're a kid at heart, you can take a lot of arts-related projects. I zoom in more. There's a couple of great, this pizza spot is awesome, which I mentioned. There is a bourbon place. Where is that place? We zoom in. Right around, somewhere right around here. Unless it's loft. It's in there. But there's a bourbon place, there's a Mexican spot all around this Ravenswood is really really great. So you don't necessarily have I mean you do have access to the beach. Let's keep there. So you can see right over Montrose. It wouldn't be that bad as far as if you have a bike. I would recommend taking your bike. You could, you know, in a day like this, I mean, easy, if you're Chicago, in 20, 25 minutes is nothing, right? Of course, if it's like, you know, October, November, you may want to not walk, but biking, walking, definitely access to that Montrose, as you can see there. So it's a great, wonderful start off of neighborhoods, Ravenswood. Let's go to the second one here. Would you live here? So chat, I know you may have not heard the first 8 minutes, but would you live in a neighborhood like Ravenswood? Or what neighborhoods are you curious about, right? Make sure you put down in the chat. First, if you would like this type of neighborhood, I know I've already asked you like where you're from in urban center, but you know, would you live in Ravenswood? Now, obviously, right, pricing being what it is, that dictates a lot of the larger area, one of the 77. That's going to be the next one that we're going to.
While I like to talk about the boundaries, we'll talk about the boundaries of the Lincoln Square community in just a couple of seconds here. I want to speak to the folks who are maybe living in the suburbs, maybe are not even living in the state and are relocating to Chicago and have no idea, if I give boundaries, what that even means. So I'm going to explain it as from a perspective that you will understand. From Chicago, as you can see here, the approximate distance, taking the number one preferred mode of transportation, the train, with train lines in the Montrose, Damon, Western, and Rockwell Brown Line stops. So you have 4 stops basically in all of the locations within Lincoln Square. That will get you to Chicago, where you probably will have that downtown job. So that is the train. And just following this, you're going to see, if you happen to want to take a car, there are also multiple bus. So I'm going to have a graphic of all the bus lines in here. But now for the people of course, that are local and know this already, the general accepted boundaries are um, on the eastern side, Damon, south, Montrose, north, Foster, and then the Chicago River to the west. Obviously, as always, there's those keyboard warriors. I'm going to keep mentioning those keyboard warriors. They may have some difference of opinions, but as a generally accepted boundaries. So I hope if you are considering Lincoln Square, you have really no idea about communities. That kind of gives you a general feel of how long it would take you to get to work. Super convenient with all of those Brown Line stops. And of course, you do have the bus, as I mentioned. You have bikes, just so many great ways to get around there. You're going to leave the car at home. Don't even have a car. Okay, for arts and culture, we've got a couple options here for you in the Lincoln Square community of Chicago. We have, of course, the venerable Old Town School of Folk Music, where you can take adult classes, guitars, and the various visual arts. There's concerts. It's just been a stalwart in the neighborhood, located there on Lincoln Avenue. Go check it out. Highly recommend it. I'll have some resources down below in the description. We have the Dank House German Heritage Center, so learn some culture. This is arts and culture. Go check them out, learn about the cultural aspects related to German and German history. Go ahead and check them out. And actually, I guess it's pushing it with arts and culture, theater, movies, current movies. I mentioned Carbon Arc. That bar is located in the Davis Theater. So really the good news, folks, is you don't even have to go to the downtown, River East, to go catch a movie. You have an actual theater. Now, albeit it's not as big as your traditional theaters, but you have all the current movies. So if you happen to have kiddos and you need some air conditioning, it's hot and they're driving you crazy, or you want to be a kiddo, just go in the afternoon and go catch a movie at Davis Theater. So really the heartbeat of the Lincoln Square community of Chicago is the parks, right? And really I'm going to be talking about three, mainly two, but this third one here, River Park. So you have River Park, Winnemac Park, and Wells Park. River Park really shares with another neighboring neighborhood, and it's not technically part of Lincoln Square. But what I wanted to mention to folks is if you're living on more on the western portion, central to western portion of Lincoln Square, they have a dog area. So for the doggos, very, very important. I know they're your children, they're your kiddos. There's a dog area there. There isn't really designated dog areas in Wells and Winnemac Park. And of course, dog's got to do his business. Okay, I won't say anything. Just make sure you pick it up, right? You're very passionate about that. So in that River Park area, you do have some tennis courts and swimming pools, but more importantly, you have that dog area. Winnemac Park, unbelievable. It's not just a park. A lot of these parks I've been showcasing, folks, is you can just see, you see a dirt diamond, you just see an open grass field. They actually have nature trails. So really, if you want to decompress, it's not always about alcohol, right? I want to be very, very clear about that. Go decompress, gather your thoughts, go on those wonderful, beautiful nature trails in Winnemac Park on the northern part of Lincoln Square. And then, of course, Wells Park, really just a major section there. Very, very family friendly there. They've got kids playing ball. I was just actually there yesterday. Kids playing ball. Kids are playing on the swing sets. Very nice park with options there. And all these parks have tennis and they have swimming. I mentioned nature trails with Winnemac Park. So three really awesome parks. I mean, you just don't really have to go anywhere else. You have Lincoln Square as your home base, and you're for fun and for play. On the leisure front, two farmers markets I do want to mention. Farmers market gets your local produce, your organic produce. Is really, really important to support these local hardworking farmers. There's two actually. So at the Artesian Plaza, really, really cool, hip plaza in the Artesian Arts Plaza. You have one from June through August. That's the shorter one, typically on the weekends, and a couple of times a week in the actual Lincoln Square section, Leland and Lincoln. You have a farmer's market that actually runs from June through November. So who says there's stuff to do in November? And actually, speaking kind of which of that later time, I'm now doing this video in the summer, of course. I will have a link of the events page where you can actually check out other seasonal events. There's so many events going on in Lincoln Square. The Chamber does a really good job. Chamber of Commerce really, really work hard, folks. on all these neighborhoods, creating content for you. So you have always stuff to do in the neighborhood. If you up to you're welcome to venture out, but if you want to stay in the neighborhood, and there's a lot of fall events for the here and now. Two great farmers markets you should be checking out, along with the parks. You have a lot of options there to be outdoors in Lincoln Square.
The actual square, which is on a stretch on Lincoln between Leland and Lawrence. So it skews, I would say, more to families, but there's many urban professionals that are there. It's a more quiet life. You know, I know a lot of you, particularly if you're living out of the state, maybe you have conferences here, so you're already familiar about River North because you go party in River North. That's typically what happens, right? They stay at a hotel, and all your coworkers and stuff, you go to the River Norths, you go to the West Loops, right? The Wicker Parks. I lived in Wicker Park for 16 years, the Bucktowns. These are all super trendy, and each neighborhood got more prominence. Versus your Lincoln Square, it's just another style, another lifestyle. And if that's what you're looking for, more chill, I definitely recommend Lincoln Square. And in that stretch, speaking of that stretch, I'm going to show you on the map. Let's go to maps. Bingo. Okay. So let's go there. So you can see here is the map. It encompasses so many: Wolcott Gardens, Ravenswood, Bowmanville, one that you can't see in here called Budlong Woods. I've done some videos on those, I'll be highlighting those later. It's a huge area. And of course, Lincoln right here, as you can see, is kind of the heartbeat of the square. And it's very, very interesting. They had construction going where they actually made a stretch. It's a lot of the density of businesses on that stretch between Leland and Lawrence. They basically got rid of all the parking to do the construction. It was a couple of week project, and you had the anti-car. You'd almost kind of think they're part of like a car lobby versus the car, independent folks. They're really going at each other. It was really crazy in the comment sections and Facebook groups, and that was only for a couple of weeks. So do I agree that it should be completely car free? Probably not, but that kind of situation for 2 weeks, called a pilot program, which it wasn't technically a pilot program because it had to be done because of the construction, and they were working on a park, and there were some really bad bricks were falling apart. They for safety concerns, they had to fix it. I could totally see. I'm on the side of maybe, certain weekends. I know I live in Lakeview East, and they had like dine out where they closed off the streets, and all the businesses had, chairs and tables out there, maybe doing it on certain weekends in the summertime, shutting it down. I can totally see it, but it was very, very interesting. And maybe doing that type of pilot program can kind of stretch to other density rich areas of the city to avoid. I do understand the businesses need that car traffic, but I think there could be a happy medium. So I thought that was very curious. So that's this area right here. As you can see, this is Lawrence, and Leland's right down over here. You see the Davis Theater. This is that stretch where there's a ton of restaurants and bars and really cool, unique mom and pop places. Jeans is awesome. Daily Bar, they got great chili mac. I love to eat. And of course you see the parks here. So this is the map. So at the end, folks, I'll talk about home pricing. We'll go into the MLS, and there's some really interesting data on that. I'll share maybe the last 10, 15 minutes or so on that. So what about Lincoln Square? Would you guys consider Lincoln Square? Is that more too chill for you? You want something more upbeat? I mean, don't get me wrong. There's bars, definitely bars there. You're not going to really get a club scene. It's going to be more like local bars where everyone knows your name, great, cool bartenders. And those bars close at like 2 a.m, sometimes 3 on the weekends. It's more kind of chill. You get like a beer and a shot after work, hard day's work, and you go home, you get some food to go. So that's more of the kind of vibe. of like both Ravenswood and Lincoln Square. So third thing we're going to go is we're going to do Avondale, which I would like to consider kind of like the cousin or like the little brother of Logan Square. Logan Square has got a lot of notoriety. I mean, they've got, Michelin starred restaurants, award-winning restaurants, and of course the housing there is super, super expensive. So kind of a relatively cheaper, more affordable version of that Big Brother Logan is Avondale. So let me show you a quick video on the Avondale. And the Avondale is a community. As I mentioned, it's a community, which you'll watch in the video. It's not a neighborhood. So it's a community. One of the 77 communities
is made up of 9 sides, right? Or areas. Under those sides or areas is 77 designated communities. And then, of course, there are hundreds of neighborhoods. Each community may have anywhere from 2 to 5 neighborhoods. And technically, Avondale is a community. It is located in one of the sides, which is the north side of Chicago. There are 5 communities: Avondale, Logan Square, North Center, Lakeview, and Lincoln Park. Those 5 communities make up the north side of Chicago. With transportation, ladies and gents, Belmont is the major transit hub of the Blue Line, located right there, and it has proximity to the expressway. That's why Avondale is really, really great. I mean, listen, it is hot. The block is hot. The block is hot, right? It's a hot hood, but it's really strategic because of its location to the expressway. So, of course, if you really want to have that beach life, which I've done several neighborhood videos, of course, you can get there by jumping in an Uber or a Lyft, but it's really not about that beach life. You're going to be about being strategically located with some hot restaurant bars and that access to the expressway. So you can have a car, you can get on the expressway really quickly. You have the transit spot. And then, of course, there is bus lines, right? Because Belmont is a major road through the Avondale community. And you're going to see right here the link to the CTA bus. You can go ahead and do the research for yourself. So you've got the bus, you've got the train, of course, you've got the expressway. So transit options are plentiful in Avondale. Now, of course, there is a lot of concrete being in the Avondale community, but do not despair. Brands Park, I always talk about green space. And listen, in all of the wonderful 77 communities of Chicago, you're going to get some green space. There's going to be some park space. So you got your creature comforts there. You got the playground. You got the outdoor activities. Take the doggos out there. Make sure they get some exercise. And oh, by the way, what I didn't mention.
Okay. Sorry for the cutoff there, right? Most of these videos, now understand, most of these videos I did these several years ago. I would just kind of give you a feel of each of these neighborhoods, right? And so I just think it's a great alternative. Nothing wrong with Logan. I'm in Logan probably several times a month, Logan Square, but Avondale is a great alternative. So we'll show you here let's show you the map. And oh, by the way, Avondale is 87 walk score. You of course can look it up on it's walkscore.com is the site. So Avondale was 87, Ravenswood was 93. This is out of 100 score, and Lincoln Square was 85. So really good scores, really, really good scores. So this is the Avondale. Let me make sure this is sharing properly. As you can see here, I will maximize that. There you go. Here's Avondale, right? So what you do is, if you can see where my cursor is, where the body of water, this is this trail, river trail. They've extended it. I did a video, and which we'll talk about in another community. But you have access to this trail, which is awesome. You just want to clear your head if you're living on this eastern side of Avondale. You can get access here. It's right at, I'm going to have to zoom in. You see this rock well on the river. It's right about here. Where is that access? And so yeah, so you can see it right there. So this river run access, and that extends all the way up, I mean, way past Irving. And so it's just a great path. It's kind of, there's an underpass, and this is part of the North Branch of the Chicago River. So you can kind of just have a nice walk. It's really, again, well, I'll be talking about that in a subsequent video, but that is on the eastern part. And then on the western part, as I mentioned in the video, that is where you get on Belmont, you get the Blue Line. So right there, you can see here. I don't know if you guys can see that. I did it light enough, but right, yeah. So right in the middle there, I will do the cursor right there. As you can see my cursor, that is the Belmont Blue Line stop, right? And that blue line goes all the way up to O'Hare. So you happen to be a flight attendant or a pilot, you know, you need that quick access. You're a consultant. You can live in the Avondale neighborhood, enjoy all the creature comforts, and take the Blue Line easily to work. No problem at all. So got your Home Depot, as you can see right here. So super simple. All you have to really do is in Google, type in Avondale, Chicago. Avondale, Chicago. Type in Avondale, Chicago. For each of these, Ravenswood, it's very simple. I just kind of wanted to give you like an overview also of the map. So before I go on to the last two, in order for me to provide these videos, and obviously, right, the beginning was a little rough, and I promise you, I apologize for that if you didn't hear me. We'll be getting better. We all learn, right? But in order for you to keep doing this, I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I am a full-time real estate agent. My name is Anant Deoras, AD, if you didn't know who I was. A licensed realtor, living here for 30 years, went to Loyola for undergrad, and the last 13 now, I've been a real estate agent and loving it. In order to do that, in order to pay the bills, in order to provide you these live streams, the short form content, and other platforms that I'll explain in a bit, I have to work with buyers and sellers and help them achieve home ownership or sell their existing home. So I want to, if you see right there, that might, and it may be in the upper left for you guys. I see it as in the upper right. I have a QR code, and that QR code goes to a scheduler on Google. Up to an hour. You may have no idea, and you're like, AD, I need your help, and so I'm happy to go an hour even longer, understanding your needs. This is a consult. I have it called a buyer consult, but you know, there is a lot of people. This is a relocation channel coming from out of Chicago, but unfortunately, there's a lot of people leaving, right? And I'd have to do another whole other video to explain why, taxes being one. And so some people are selling their existing place and moving to another Chicago neighborhood. Other people are leaving the state. They need a consult. I handle buyers, investors, and sellers living in the urban city of Chicago. So hit that QR code. It'll take you to a scheduler on your convenience. I think it's between 9 and 6 p.m. If you have a really busy schedule and you need to talk outside of those hours, just reach out to me. I have my contact information in there. I'm happy to work around your schedule, and let's have a talk. You may already know what you want to do. I do have a questionnaire, but go ahead and use this, and so that we won't be using the full hour. You may say, hey, AD, I know where I want to live. We need to get going. I'm ready to go. My schedule is your schedule, or your schedule is my schedule. You don't understand what I'm saying. So again, quick kind of promo, whatever you want to call it. Got to do it. Got to pay the bills. I'm going to keep this on here for the rest of the video. So obviously, if you're coming in here towards the end of the video, go to that QR code. If for whatever reason it's not working, please let me know. I'm going to share my contact information here. Best way to get a hold of me is Bingo. There you go. AD Anant Deoras, Chicago, re.com. That is the best way to get a hold of me in case, for whatever reason, that doesn't work. I just check that. Shouldn't be a problem. So that's the scheduler. That's going to be on there. That's through Google, completely free, right, to schedule. And I get a notification, and then we can have a nice talk. So let's go on now to these last two. We're going to be talking Andersonville. Andersonville, also an ultra hot neighborhood in the northern part of Chicago. I got a quick video for that. So let me share my screen one more time. Or I got two more times. So I'm going to share that. We're going to get out of here. And you are going to learn about Andersonville.
A show over at the Rivendell Ensemble Theater. Andersonville, Chicago has a lot of outdoor events, and not just in your typical peak summer season. Throughout the year, there are events to go to. So I just mentioned it before, the great resource, the Andersonville Chamber of Commerce. You have, besides the regular Midsummer Fest that happens in the summertime, you have a wine walk, you have sales going on. A lot of the merchants on that I told you that stretch, the Heartbeat Clark, right, kind of band together. They want to support each other, and they open up their stores and they have sales. Family friendly. Andersonville, yes, it surprised me. It is very family friendly. I'll mention schools in a little bit. Take your kiddos to Halloween. Parks, right? As if you watched any of my neighborhoods of Chicago, and I'm gonna reconfigure it to communities. That's kind of a TBD when I'm going to do that as far as a playlist to make it easier for you and provide value. There is Sen. So Sen is the high school. There is a Sen Park right there. So many people take their doggos there. Of course, make sure you clean up, be a responsible owner. And there's park facilities there, just as typically managed by the Chicago Park District. So you've got the park there. And then, of course, you want a farmer's market, right? So farmer's market, and a lot of times, just, kind of just for your education, typically May through October. So now, depending on when you see this video, it may not be available. We do get a little cold. However, you have something to look forward to in 2023 and beyond. There's a great farmer's market. And then finally, of course, the big elephant, you want beach life. And with the being strategically located, Andersonville is just minutes if you jump on a bike. Even walking, it's not bad. You've got Foster Beach, one of the underrated beaches, unlike the Oak and North Avenue beaches, it's not as crowded. So there's so many great, amazing stuff, outdoor things to do over in Andersonville, Chicago. To mention in these videos, neighborhood-centric videos, transportation, and Andersonville has several. Two main red lines are the Bryn Mawr and the Berwyn. Now, with the latter, depending on when you see this video, it may still be going through repairs. There's a whole big construction of that line. So Bryn Mawr is your main line. And of course, right, Google is your friend. But just for your education here, you can simply go into Google, type in Bryn Mawr. I'll tell you, you're going to see here graphics on how it's spelled. And you can click that directions. And just again, for your education, you can type in, okay, how long it will take to go to the Loop, Chicago, if you have to work downtown. So go ahead and you do that research on your own. But yeah, Red Line is serviced by Bryn Mawr. So you can basically go anywhere red, and you can go down south, transfer, go over to other lines. And so it's very convenient to have that line, that Red Line in Andersonville.
Okay, there we go. I don't know what happened there. Technology. I promise you, I'm usually not this bad. But there's that jewel, and we'll expand out a little bit just to kind of give you a idea of the general boundaries. Andersonville is the neighborhood. Edgewater, as you can see right here where my cursor is, that is the community. Okay. All right. So that is Andersonville. I'm going to stop it. And the last, before we get into the last video. I want to talk a little bit about pricing in the last couple of minutes here. So let me get into my MLS. Okay. I'm going to share once again. Let's go here. This is the MLS. This is the source, straight from the tap, right? This is real time. You can get real time alerts. Now, again, I have no problem with even my clients using the Zillows and the Redfins and Realtor.com. Understanding is don't click the agent button. Reach out to me. You can share links with me, right? But for the regular consumer, I understand the appeal. There's a 5 to 7 minute lag, sometimes up to 15. Here you can get it immediately. And some people like that immediate real-time alerts as far as getting listing alerts, right? There's some other separate filters that are also good. So like I said, use whatever is comfortable for you when you're looking at properties in general. But I wanted to show you, let's see here. Just a couple, for example, Andersonville. I created a search just for myself, just kind of for this stream. The past roughly last month, how many things have sold. You can see here 5 properties. Now, look at some of this pricing. So, for example, here, this 5647 Glenwood. This is a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. Want to make sure you guys can see this. Let me know, folks, if you can see the screen. I'd appreciate it. So, look at this property. It was 400. And it sold for 502. 102K above list. I can't believe it. Now, people would say, what about appraisals, right? Properties have to appraise. You have to sell your home twice. Just kind of a real estate 101. You have to sell it, of course, to a willing buyer. And then, you have to almost in a way sell it to the lender. The lender is providing the loan, and the property has to appraise at least to the sales price or above. If it's below, there's a shortfall, right? And then it's depending on what's negotiated. So this happened to be cash, which obviously is not going to have that type of appraisal contingency. But still, that is like, wow. If I'm a seller in Andersonville, you're out there, you're listening, reach out to me, please. Let's have a talk, because this is amazing. I know we've had a shortage here, and talking about housing, which I'll talk more about on that missing middle Mondays. Talk a little bit about the market too. We have that shortage, and while the Arizonas and the Texas and the Floridas are getting a little bit of a correction, we still have that crunch on supply, and buyers are out there. And if interest rates go lower, what's going to happen? Demand's going to surge, and we don't have the inventory. So these prices could potentially escalate even higher. I just found that fascinating, that it's 102. I mean, look at this one again. This property, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Look at that. 499 list, 575. So that's an idea. That's not all properties. So if you go, that just happens to be Andersonville, which is scorching, along with being a cool neighborhood, scorching real estate wise market. Let's quickly. I'd like to show you Avondale. Of course, if you guys at this time, just time is short. If you have any questions, of course, please feel free to reach out. I gave you my email. Shoot me a quick email. I'll be happy to send you whatever data you would like in whatever neighborhood. But here is Avondale. Let's go into Avondale. I want to make sure you guys can see this. Okay. let's see. So there was 7 properties in the same time period that closed. And kind of for an example, let's kind of make it apples to apples. 2-bedroom, 1 bath. Look at this. 4131 Belmont, which has access to the blue line. Look at that. More reasonable. You know, I was saying how this is kind of a counter, that little brother energy of Logan Square. Listed for 325, closed for 326. More reasonable pricing. So Avondale. Now, again, you kind of don't have that beach life. You're a little further west, but it's just whatever your needs are. So the good news is you're saying, well, you know, like I said, how's the market? You say, how's the market, AD? It's neighborhood specific. It's neighborhood specific. It can be down to the block specific, depending on how unique the property is. So it's that location, condition, and past sales. Those are really 3 indicators, really, with location being one that kind of drives a lot of this. So I found that really curious. Because we're short on time, I can't really talk about the other properties, but just reach out to me if you need anything specific. But that's kind of that yin and yang of Andersonville and Avondale. So finally, I want to thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully a lot of people will come on the replay. Again, if you don't know who I am Anant Deoras, AD. I'm a local Chicago realtor. We're talking about 5 Chicago neighborhoods with killer walk scores. I'm going to stop sharing. And our last neighborhood is Pilsen. And I do not work that much in Pilsen. I've been there multiple times. Beautiful, beautiful neighborhood, culturally amazing. And so if after you see the map, and I'm going to show you some quick, I have short form content that I produce on my Instagram. I share it on TikTok. I actually share it on my YouTube Shorts, which if you go into the search bar at relocation.ad, so if I actually right here, you can see there right there. I'm going to keep that up for a little bit. That's my YouTube channel, and I also have short form. That's where all my live streams are. But you just click on the short section. I do a bunch of shorts, which are the shorter form, 1 minute and less, sometimes 3 minutes and less. Got a couple videos I want to show you. But if you want to live in this Pilsen neighborhood, I can refer you to an excellent agent that focuses on Pilsen. So this is a Foundry Lofts. It's at 16th and Laughlin. Wanted to show you this video.
An industrial piece of the past is getting a second life, but not without some baggage. Folks, in Pilsen, the Otis Foundry building at 16th and Laughlin is going to be converted to lofts, 84 lofts to be exact. However, for every one of those lofts, there's going to be, for every 2 of those lofts, there's going to be 1 parking space. I can't do math, which is, I'm so upset about it. Yes, there's going to be half of parking spaces. Why are there all these parking spaces, good folks, when you've got 3 bus lines within blocks away, not to mention the pink line at 18th, a block away? So we really need to be reprioritizing. The priority should be for urbanism elements. We don't need all that parking. However, any housing is good housing there, particularly in Pilsen. 84 units. Sound off, folks. Do we need that parking? Do we need to have 42 parking spaces? Sound off. If you like this type of urbanism content, please follow my channel, Chicago_urbanism.ad. Yucatan in the Pilsen neighborhood is coming onto the market so very, very soon. 98 affordable units with a mix of 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. There's a great amenities room within this development, bike storage, multi-purpose room, even a playground. The problem, it hasn't broke ground yet. In a city that needs affordable housing, they need to put that shovel in the ground. This is great for the Pilsen neighborhood, having affordable. There's been issues with gentrification. And as far as specifics on what the affordability means, I don't have those numbers. I can research for you.
So hopefully you guys can hear me. If you can see above my head right there to the east of that park, and then southwest, you have the 18th and the Damon Pink line. That's why this is such a strategic location to that property on Racine. You're really not that far from both of those transit stops. So speaking of walkability, living by that Harrison Park would be ideal. So I just wanted to kind of, before I show you the map, I wanted you to kind of look at that, and we'll continue playing the video.
For you. Comment below if you want me to look that up. If you like this type of news, this type of urbanism news, biking, walking, public transit, and housing, follow Chicago_urbanism.ad.
Okay. So that kind of gave you an idea of the map. And as I mentioned, one of my superpowers that I've learned is you can't be what is it? Jack of all trades, masters of none, right? So I have my kind of focus on the north side and west side areas where I provide my value, and out areas that I don't work, nothing wrong with those areas. I partner with folks. So reach out if Pilsen, if you're kind of curious about Pilsen and moving to Pilsen, there's some great properties. The Casa Yucatan is going to be rentals. The Foundry, which is going to be loft style, I don't quite know if they're going to be rental or purchase. So just if you're curious. So before we wrap, I do want to share my urbanism channel. This is relocation. It's always been urban relocation. I did a little bit of a shift where primarily it's going to be Chicago urbanism. So my focus in the short form space, right? That's 1 minute is here is the Chicago_urbanism.ad. That is my Instagram channel. That is also on TikTok. And I'm on Facebook. I have a Facebook page. So you can basically find me on Facebook, Instagram, of course, YouTube, both long form with the lives and short form, YouTube Shorts and TikTok. Okay. So this has been Walk Score Wednesday video. This is 5 Chicago neighborhoods with killer walk scores. I'm Anant Deoras, AD. I apologize again for the beginning. I'll do better. I love feedback. So if you didn't post anything on the live, on the replay, please post below. I'll get back to you quick. Right here, don't forget, if you want to schedule time with me, even if you don't think you're going to buy immediately, just to have a discussion, there's a lot of volatility going on, particularly with that big, beautiful bill. Some people don't use the word beautiful, but I'm just saying what other people are saying. You get it. And also let me know about accessible neighborhoods. Post down. Be happy to do a video on that for our ADA friends.